Hi, this is Mrs. Slater, and today we're going to be solving equations. And just a couple reminders, when you are solving equations, first of all, you always are going to add or subtract first. Again, we're trying to get a variable by itself when we solve an equation. And then we're going to multiply or divide. So if you stick with that order, then you will be doing pretty well on this information. Okay, so let's do a couple examples. Let's start with the first one being 13 equals negative 25 plus 2y. Okay, so we'd have to add or subtract first, and as you can see, there is a negative 25, so we're going to add 25 to both sides. And I realize this is review, so if you want to fast forward to the answer, you may do so. Okay, so if that is the case, we've got 38 equals 2y, and then the next is going to be divided by 2. So hopefully you all are getting 19 as the value for y. Now, to check your answer, you can always plug the 19 back in for y to figure out if you have it correct or not. And solving for this, 2 times 19 is 38. And then if you subtract, you end up getting 13. So I know that it checks correctly. All right, let's try another one. Number 2. 9x minus 4 equals 8. Okay, you can push pause and go ahead and solve for x. And you should end up with 9x equals 12. And then x is going to equal 12 over 9. Always reduce those fractions. 3 goes into both of them, so it's going to be 4/3. Okay, now let's do another one. Number 3, let's mix in some fractions. Starting out slow with negative 1/4 x equals 7. Okay, anytime you have a fraction, it's much easier to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. That's why earlier in the chapter that is such a big deal. Reciprocal will help you solve these type of problems. Okay, the reciprocal is so important because what ends up happening is that everything is going to cancel out. The 4 and the 4 are going to cancel, and then the 1s are going to cancel, and negative times a negative is a positive. So what you're left with is an x. Okay, and then all you'd have to do now is take 7 times a negative 4 over 1, which ends up being a negative 28. Okay, so let's talk about the third one, which is, again, more fractions. Get used to them. Negative 1/4 y plus 3/2 equals 1/2. Okay, so first thing we do, again, is add or subtract. So I'm going to show that I'm subtracting negative 3/2 to both sides. Okay, negative 1/4 y is going to come down to the next line. That's going to be opposite, which is what we wanted. And then 1/2 minus 3/2 is a negative 2 over 2, which reduces or simplifies into negative 1. Okay, so back to the trick. Anytime you have a fraction, multiply by the reciprocal. Cancels everything. You get y by itself, and negative 1 times negative 4 is 4. So that's the value of y. The next type of equations are going to be problems where you're going to have to combine like terms. First, I should put like terms there. Then go to your adding and subtracting, and then multiply and divide. So those are the 3 things you need to be looking for in that order. Okay, so for the next example, we have 8x plus 6, and it looks like we are on the 3rd, 4th example, so this would be like the 5th one. Sorry if my numbers are off. So anyway, you have 8x plus 6 minus 2x equals a negative 12 minus 4x plus 5. So as you can see, we've got lots of like terms on both sides. Okay, so 8x minus 2x, you should get 6x plus 6 equals negative 12 Oh, I'm sorry. You have to take negative 12 plus 5 to get negative 7 and negative 4x. Now it turns into something we've seen before. Okay, when you have two different things, you've got x's on both sides and then constants on both sides as well. Let's go ahead and get everything together. For example, the 4x needs to be over there by the 6x. So we're going to put those two together. Again, all these equations are just so to balance the equation. What number is going to do that? Okay, so we get 10x plus 6 equals negative 7. And then after that step, we're going to take negative 6 to both sides, and we get 10x equals a negative 13. Okay, so on this one, the last step is going to be to divide both sides by 10. And negative 13 over 10, if you, that's as far as it reduces. If you want to put it in decimal form, you could do that as well. So negative 1.3 would work there. Okay, so the next one I want you to try, again, I think I'm on example 6, 15y minus 5 equals 6y plus 3 minus y. Go ahead and push pause and solve. Okay, so check your work and mine, see if they match. If you got 4/5, you're ready to move on. Okay, so for the last two, I want you to go ahead and try them both. And so push pause, and I'll be showing you the answers. Okay, so for the first one, when you're dealing with decimals, again, the operation's the same. You want to add or subtract first, and in this case, we'll have to do the opposite. So adding 1.2 will work. Bring down the 0.2x. Those cancel. And then you're left with 3 on this side. And then the last step to divide by 0.2, 0.2, you get an answer of 15. Okay, you can always plug it back in to check your answer. Okay, and then the last one right here, we're going to put our r's together to get negative 5r plus 2. Again, combining like terms is definitely your first step. And then 2r minus 5 cleans up all the like terms. Okay, now let's get everything to one side by subtracting 2r, okay, to get negative 7r plus 2 equals negative 5. And then the next step is to subtract 2 to both sides, negative 7r, those cancel, and negative 7. And for a final answer, after negative 7 is divided to both sides, you end up getting 1. Okay, and then just to emphasize again, all checking. If you ever want to check your answer, and this is going to be very helpful for quizzes and tests, you take 1 and you plug it in where you see an R in the original. You have to go all the way to the original. So I'm going to check over here. 3 times 1 plus 2 minus 8 times 1 equals 2 times 1 minus 6 plus 1. Okay, so now that it looks halfway decent here, we have 3 plus 2 minus 8, and then 2 minus 6 plus 1. And this would be 5 minus 8, that's negative 3. And 2 minus 6, that's negative 4 plus 1 is also negative 3. So I know that I did it right. All right, that's it for this lesson.